What do you mean I'm not that good an actor? I'm a good actor.
I don't mean it personally. I mean, I've never seen you on any IMDb website posting.
I am on IMDb.
TV. Are you really?
Yeah, look me up.
Shut up. As what? For what?
As a production manager for SBTV, which was my that startup that I was part of back in the early 2000s.
You're so much more impressive than I am.
Well, I know that. But hey, you're on Podchaser.
And Modest.
Modest too.
Hey, everybody, I'm on Podchaser.
Yeah.
You gotta come up
What's
with a radio
Podchaser?
What's a Podchaser? Hey, so can we celebrate that?
What? That you're on Podchaser?
No. How many downloads as of today?
As of 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 3,000.
Woo!
Woo, woo.
I posted that on my Facebook page.
You did?
I
Good
did.
for you.
Because I thought that was pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
But 2 words I put in large print, and that is persistence.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's us when it comes to this podcast, and gratitude.
Absolutely.
And so for not only for you, obviously, and all the work that you do, but for our listeners, for some awesome people.
You must have some bad news because you're laying it on thick.
No, I've been drinking, but
okay. That too. I wasn't. I don't know why I didn't go there. I should have known better.
You should have. Okay, so now I know we're going to find out what your acting skills are like, because just before we started, Nick related to me a story about some content for the show.
Well,
and
John,
I started laughing really hard, and he seems to think he can replicate it. I don't know.
It might even be better. Once you run your lines a few times, you get to know them really, really well.
Sure.
At least that's what all the actors tell me when I'm an extra somewhere.
Lion
So anyway, John and I were discussing what we were going to do on the show, and everyone knows that we don't really plan, but we do kind of go into it. Yeah, it was a very short discussion. We usually do come in with some sort of idea of what at least we're going to start talking about, because it always leads us down another rabbit hole, and it's all good. It's all good. I was telling him, well, this is great that you're talking about this, because the other night I was sitting on the couch and something popped into my head, and I'm like, man, we should really do that on the podcast. And I think we need to talk about this, and this. I should really write this down because I might forget. No, I won't forget. What happened, John?
Guess what?
I have no idea what I was thinking. None. Gone.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is it'll probably come back to you at some point.
Yeah, in the middle of the night where I don't have anywhere to write because it's too dark in my room, and I'll just stumble over something and bust my ass. I don't know.
You know what you should do is have your microphone right by the bed.
Who says I don't?
On the bedside table. Well, see, that you wouldn't have to write anything. You just, in the middle of the night, hold on just a second. And you just bring the microphone over and you say,
hey, John, can you hear me? John, can you hear me?
No, I do not want a live mic.
Oh, no live. No. Oh, damn. I'm out.
Recording.
I'm out.
Yeah, I can see you waking me up like that, because I have my microphone right by my bed.
I mean, who's to say it's not the same hotel room?
It's entirely possible. Apparently.
I remember our friend Bill 2 episodes ago.
Yes.
Talking about that and making, maybe it was me. I don't remember.
It was one of our brilliant people on the air.
Yes. See, it must have been me, because you just talked about brilliant and modest.
And modest.
What are you drinking? That's the tiniest can I've ever seen.
I have to swallow now. It's a can of Diet Coke. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
And I think it's just that it's 12 ounces. I just have massive hands.
I see. Okay. Makes sense.
If you could see this, listeners, it's one of the small ones, 7.5 fluid ounces, and as opposed to the 12-ounce can. But otherwise, perspective, it's all the same as the other can, just tiny, and they're kind of cute. We got them because Lisa never drinks a full can, a 12-ounce can. But this one apparently she can handle, so that's why we ended up with them. But you know what it
And
makes me
you
think
just
of?
well, you like to
Go
make
ahead.
your drinks a little stronger, so you put a little Jack in there and fill it halfway up. That way you don't feel like as much of a lush.
No, no, no. I just empty out half of it and then I just fill the rest up with Jack.
That's what I just said.
Well,
I just
yeah,
said it
but then
differently. That was the half full, half empty thing.
you were assuming I was putting it in a glass. No, no.
I was talking about the can. Did I say
Oh,
glass? I didn't mean to say glass.
you said something about it in the can, and I'm not. That might have been some other topic.
It could have been.
What this reminds me of is the old Miller
Low life?
bottles. No, yeah, well, it was Miller High Life, but they had 7-ounce bottles,
Uh-huh.
and we used to get them right after I turned 18, the legal drinking age in Wisconsin when I was a kid.
Mhm.
And we would often take them out to a farmer's field and hammer these 7-ounce. And then we used to
You
do,
could finish off a six-pack pretty quick.
oh gosh, well, they came, was it an 8? I think it was an 8-pack of 7
Okay.
ounces. I could be wrong, but I think it was 8. And it was hilarious. What's most hilarious is a couple weeks ago, somebody gave me one. I'm not sure it was at a party or something. Like a graduation, not a graduation party, maybe a college graduation party. And they handed me one of these 7-ouncers, and I'm like, "Hello, old friend."
Yeah,
And I tasted it, and it tasted exactly like it did
yeah.
back when I was just out of high school. When I when I
Wow.
drank them, it was pretty awesome. And
That is
yeah,
awesome.
7-ounce shorties, you don't see them very often.
You don't see I see Heineken with those quite a bit, but
Oh,
that's
the
it.
small,
And
like 7-ounce?
yeah. But
Cool.
I haven't seen any of the other brands do that.
Huh.
In Tennessee, they tend not to like smaller things. It's kind of like Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. All your beer is bigger in Tennessee.
Yes. Same is true in Australia. If you ever had
Yeah.
the Fosters, which is
Fosters. Australian for beer.
24, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Have you ever had Fosters?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not going to knock it because I do know we have Australian listeners, but I'm not a fan. Sorry, guys.
Oh, I am. So suddenly my Aussie
Your Australian
brothers
cred.
and sisters
Yeah.
now love me. Well, I've actually been there, so I can. We kind of.
I've been there.
I have actually had. What's that? A Vegemite.
Oh, really? I've
It's-
never tried it. I want to. I've heard it's horrible.
and I don't want to
It's
make
an acquired
enemies
taste. Let's put it that way.
out of my new Australian friends, but it
Right.
must be because Shazam. It was nasty.
Let's talk about Shazam in just a
Okay.
minute.
Sure.
Because I still want to talk about Vegemite. I've heard that people that have tried Vegemite, they don't like it at first, but it's one of those things where you're like, I think I want some Vegemite. And then you just get into the habit and you just all of a sudden you just love it. Kind of like black licorice for some people.
Gosh. Okay. Well, it's nothing like black licorice. Can
No,
we
it's
be
not.
clear
Yeah.
about that? So-
Yeah, no, it's definitely not.
But
But
they had it, and you can imagine this because they had it in this hotel where I was staying, and I was bumped up. Actually, no, I have free reign in the concierge level because we travel so much, or used to.
yeah, right.
And they actually had it in their nice spread for breakfast. It was what, they have nice peanut butter and they have, butter and things like that. And then they had Vegemite. And I want to say it was in, I think it was because I hit all the towns. Where would it have been? Maybe in
Adelaide,
Perth.
Perth. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but it was amazing. I tasted it, and did not spit it out, but I was not happy to have swallowed it.
So we've talked about this person that I watch on YouTube, and I'm stalling a little bit because I don't remember his name, and I'm looking it up right now. But he did a whole thing on breakfast foods and how he hates American breakfast.
Oh,
And
American or is
Yeah,
he?
he's American. Yeah,
Okay.
he actually lives in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
He is a reporter for Vox, I believe.
Oh yeah, you mentioned Vox.
Yeah, and he stand by.
You don't have to tell us that you're. I'm actually stalling a little. We know when you're stalling.
Yeah, Johnny Harris.
We
So
do.
Johnny Harris did a piece on his YouTube channel that where he talks about breakfast and how Americans tend to eat what are considered dessert foods in other countries for breakfast, because a lot of our food is very sweet. It's cakes, it's doughs, it's breads, and with the exception of eggs and bacon, it's really a lot of that cereal and stuff like
Sure.
that. And I think he did mention Vegemite in there as one of the other alternatives to the American breakfast. Yeah.
It's not an it could be a compliment maybe,
A compliment.
or what might be closer, an insult.
Now you're really pissing off the Aussies.
I am not.
Aussies.
There are, in fact, I would say that at least half of the population, at least those I met when I was there, would agree with me that it's just not amazing, but they've become known for it, much
Right.
like pastries at a U.S. breakfast or whatever. But if you go to Germany or Switzerland, they also are pretty big on pastries, as I recall. But they also have cheeses and meats and things like that, more of the European style, I guess. And in Norway, they have fish quite often.
Yeah, and down in the islands too for breakfast.
Yeah, a lot more. Depending upon the island, a lot more things like mangoes, and they have those types of fruits, which are delicious as long as they're fresh.
Yeah,
but
when we went for our honeymoon, that was what we were served for breakfast every morning. Was we had fresh fruit, but we also had a lot of fish.
Interesting.
Yeah. Grilled fish.
Interesting. Yeah, that was different for me in Europe, for sure. But it seems like we were in St. Croix, USVI, and that was one of our anniversaries. Sorry, honey, don't remember which one. But they had mostly an Americanized well, it's USVI, but an Americanized version of their breakfasts. It was nice fruits and all of that. Pineapple was especially good, as I recall.
Pineapple.
But anyway, no Vegemite to be found.
No Vegemite. That's good. That's good. We got some really good cantaloupe recently in our CSA, and we got 2 big melons, and it was gone in a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it was so
good. And we will do that when we find. It's really seasonal, though, cantaloupe and watermelon, especially.
Yeah, we got watermelon too
as well. But you did get watermelon?
Mm-hmm.
And it was good.
A yellow one. Oh yeah, it was beautiful.
I don't know if I've had the yellow one.
It tastes just like the red one.
Yeah,
it just looks yellow.
Well, awesome.
Thanks.
I wasn't sure where we were going with that.
I wasn't going anywhere. I was just letting you know.
We got from whatever the grocery store was. We got a seedless watermelon.
Nice.
Which are rounder than oblong, and it was not good. It was it wasn't ripe. It wasn't bad or anything. It just wasn't quite ripe. So it's later. It's more of a seasonal thing for watermelons. But when they're nice and rich and red, and oh my gosh, they're delicious. So sweet. So cool. We've gone through the breakfast.
We've gone through the breakfasts. I love breakfast, but I don't like it for breakfast.
So do you do that? Do you have breakfast for dinner sometime?
We do. Yeah.
We haven't done it for a long time. We used to do it when Michael was still growing up. I don't think we've done it since. But
yeah. We don't do it as much anymore because Peyton's gotten really picky about certain foods and eggs. She used to beg for eggs, and now she won't. She'll only do hard boiled. She won't do any other sort of eggs. Yep. So we struggle a little bit there. So we don't do it as much as we did. But yeah, we would do. I like breakfast for dinner. I like dinner for breakfast, which is weird. I love steak. I love pizza.
Yeah,
it's just easy.
for breakfast. I can do
Yep.
pizza for breakfast. Steak, I don't know what we had the other night, and I'll give Lisa big props because she has the technique for doing a fillet just down to a science. And plus, we have a great source, a wonderful meat market near us that just has excellent quality meat. And a lot of people like ribeyes, and well, it's a much better steak because of the fat, and it's blah blah blah. I, I've always been a fillet guy.
Yep. Me too.
And she bakes them in the oven slowly, usually for 30 minutes, depending upon the size of the steak. Low heat, 250, maybe 275, and then brings it out, rests for 15 minutes, and then hot finishes them in a cast iron pan with
Nice.
butter and thyme, and it's just incredible how
You're making me
consistent
hungry.
and how good it is. But here's the weird part, what I assume is weird, is that the next day, if there's any left over, not so much on my plate usually,
Right.
maybe on hers. I'm not a big, slice up the steak and have it with eggs for breakfast. Not that I don't like it. But it's kind of a first time thing with
Sure.
steak for me. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what it is. So that was a very key statement on my part.
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted. Someone was
You
trying to
get
call me.
distracted a lot.
No, only when people are trying to call me
Oh, well, why don't you pick it up?
because
Take
I
a
don't want to.
business call while we're on the air. That would be awesome.
I don't take business calls after 5 o'clock.
Well, they shouldn't. But you get them and you know it.
Yeah,
I do.
I get them.
Yeah.
I only pick up for my boss though.
Oh, well, how nice of you.
Yeah, because it's usually important then.
Now you're sucking up. Just saying.
Just saying.
Okay,
I know.
so okay, let's talk about social media for a
Yep.
second.
Okay, social media.
Because you and I teach that essentially as part of what we do with our dealer clients.
Yes.
We talk about how they need to have a good presence. And when I do website and customer experience work with dealerships, I also look at their social media presence. And
Right.
it's amazing how many dealers will be somewhat active on Facebook, but ghosts
Everywhere else.
on the other
Yeah.
spots.
And I'm surprised that you've ever seen any that are really actually active on Facebook.
Yeah, and when I say active, I mean a couple times a week that they post, and that's not active. That's just marginally so. That's the dealership that does not have a social media person.
Right.
That's a dealership that is busy selling cars.
Right.
And they happen to post things from time to time.
If that, yeah. I could go down a big rabbit hole on that one because I was just having a conversation with one of our coworkers about this exact same topic and some of the struggles that we have at certain dealerships because they're small. They don't have a media manager.
Right.
A salesperson is the one that is strapped with the website, with the being the service person, not service person, but the customer service representative for the entire dealer, trying to make people happy. And then they're also in charge of social media and Google My Business. But on top of all of that responsibility, they get paid for selling cars.
Yes.
So they'd much rather, obviously, and I don't blame them, they have to go sell a car and all of that other stuff gets put aside.
Yes.
So really,
yes, of course you have to. I mean, that's exactly what happens. If I'm supporting my family and I'm perhaps not being paid for that social effort.
Right. Or even if you are, it's being paid very little.
Yeah, comparatively speaking. And, and it's interesting too, and I'm not bashing dealers. I'm just, because I was probably guilty of the same thing. The person at most dealerships that speaks to more people than any other is usually the lowest paid person.
Isn't that crazy?
At the store. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have a receptionist who picks, if you have a live receptionist, which is
few and far between.
It is, that's correct. But if you have a good one, she or he are worth their weight in gold.
Yes.
And but yeah, they need to be paid like that because you sales is not a good way to answer a call that comes into a dealer, but we still hear it these
Oh, we hear
days.
it so often, and
Such a valuable position, though.
yeah, it is. And
Mm.
I think even if you take it a step further to the people that answer the internet leads for the most part, unless you have your sales staff should answer well, but if you've got a business development center or a BDC, they are usually fairly low on the totem pole, low paid people that work 8 to 10 hours a day without a break, doing
Yeah.
nothing but answering phones, calling people, and trying to reach out to the customers.
Frontline people.
They're the frontline people, and they're stuck in a back room without any windows, and they're
That's
expected to make hundreds of phone calls every single day, and
and
yet
receive, make and
and
receive.
receive. Yep,
Yeah,
and you're only going to pay them, $10 an hour,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, it's tough. But you know what? It's just like anything, and you can say it anecdotally, but you get what you pay for.
Right.
If you want somebody, I'm not sure you can pay too much
No, you
for a
can't.
good frontline person.
Nope.
I'm just not sure because you can leverage that skill that they bring to the table.
But getting
In a
back a little bit more towards what you were talking about,
Yeah,
even that person, that media manager,
mm,
they are worth their weight in gold,
for
especially in
sure,
today's market.
for sure.
It just having someone doing that, it has to, they have to do it full time.
Yeah.
This is a full-time job.
Yes, and uh, again, looking from a cost control standpoint, like most, especially now, most dealerships do. But I think they're also seeing, the value of having that virtual
Yeah.
opportunity,
Yeah.
and so much of it comes from what you post on social and how people engage with that.
Yeah.
But
So let's take it a step further and combine both of them. I had this conversation actually today. If you we just did a mystery shop. I'm going to back it up a little bit. We just did an email mystery shop. No
yep,
phone numbers, just sent in an email to various dealers to see how they would respond. And then we gave them a week to give us their first personalized response and
mhm,
then see what their follow-up was, their
yeah,
follow-up
good,
cadence. And the dealers, for the most part, had a very good follow-up cadence. So they reached out on a good, every day for a certain amount of time, and then started going every other day and
mhm,
just kind of trailed off like that. But then if you dove into each message, and I'm excluding the first personalized response, that's a whole different story. But
mhm.
if you looked at every single message on the follow-up, they were basically the same email over and over again with a different subject line. And every
Really,
single one of them was, when can you come in?
yes,
Hey, I'm
right,
dropping the price on this car. Hey, here's the
yeah.
car again. Here's the car again.
When can you
Here's
come
the
in?
car again. When can you come in? Set an appointment today. And I'm just so now what I'm trying to do, because first of all, in my mind, the first personalized response is the most important email.
Sure.
That's your first impression.
Yep.
You make sure you answer the customer's question, you give them all the valuable information, you give them a call to action, you let them know what the next steps are. You get that, it's a good impression. Customers hopefully will respond. All of the other emails after that are basically marketing pieces. It's still important that the salesperson or the BDR, business development representative, actually touch those emails and add their personalized touch to them.
Yep.
But most of them should be used to entice the customer to respond or to reach back out after the first response. So we need to have a why buy. Why should you buy from us?
Mm,
Hey, you can buy online and here's how. That'd be
mhm,
another email. The manager email asking if everything's okay. Then you talk about, well, we have this great service department, it's award winning. Then you talk about what you've done in the community. It's not about asking for them to come in every single time. It's building value in that customer's mind. If they haven't responded to that first one, all we need to be doing is building value so
mm,
that customer is in essence forced to respond, because we are such a great place to do business with. Again, it still needs to be part of sales, but now marketing people need to be involved in that
mhm.
to create that message, to craft that message, and then they can use that to share across every other mechanism, including social media. If you can tie all that messaging together, it just becomes that much more powerful to the consumer.
And it's easier too. And I think one thing you said that really strikes home and should for our listeners and everybody else for that matter, because we're all marketed to constantly.
Hmm.
It's not so much the cadence of that follow-up. It's the content of that
Exactly.
follow-up. And
Exactly.
that's why you have to do it well. The cadence is appropriate. I mean, I get it. You wanna make sure that I don't, leave somebody hanging for 2 weeks before
Right.
we follow up with them. But if it's incorrect content, "When can you come in? When can you come in?" If they're looking for a price and we never gave them the numbers, or we never gave them, "Is it available still?" or whatever, asking them to come in does no good.
Yeah.
So
We
it is
haven't earned the right. We
that's
talk about that in sales all
Yep,
the time.
yep,
If you haven't earned the right to ask for the sale, don't ask for the sale.
for sure. And
If
it's
you
and look, so we talk automotive, but, listeners, this applies to all of us.
Yes.
What I find really cool, is that today, because there is so much commerce conducted online, is that we're all experts to a degree. We all are consumer experts because whether we can put our fingers on it or not, we know what we like and what we dislike. And most of us have, bought stuff on Amazon. And so what you like. Is there anything about Amazon you don't like? Probably, but it's not glaring. And the one thing I don't like is not knowing where a product is coming from.
Right.
And 2 weeks later, when I still don't have it.
Yeah.
So, there are those things. But for the most part, if you can emulate somebody like Amazon who does such a good job, you're doing smart things for your business.
Exactly. Yep. And so I still can't announce it yet. And hopefully by the time this airs, it'll be out there. But we have. I'll just screw it. So my wife and I are trying to buy a dance studio,
Woo!
and not just start one. Actually, buy an existing one. It's been
But I
around
know, I
for
mean, we've all known, I think everybody knows in the audience what a good dancer you are. So,
exactly. Yeah, that's why she's buying it from me. Really. Well, anyway, we still haven't actually completed the deal as of the recording of this.
mhm,
Might be different when it airs, but as of the recording, we still haven't finished the deal. We're still
mhm,
waiting on the bank, to be honest. So there
mm,
is a chance that it might not move forward.
sure.
But because we are getting so close to the school year, even though the school is still kind of wonky the way they're going to go back,
Right.
we need to start registering people. We need to. So we opened up registration, and I've been doing a social media campaign around it to try to drive more traffic. And by the way, John, no one in the dance industry seems to do that well.
Mm.
No one in town, not even the big dogs who make millions of dollars, who are downtown that have the same name as the city. They don't even do it well. And they do it better than everyone else. They just still don't do it well.
Mhm.
I've only been working on this now for 2 weeks, and I am crushing everyone online. Like,
Nice.
we are first page dominant, almost first page dominant. If someone does a keyword like dancing in Nashville,
Wow.
our we just come up right. I mean, I didn't do that much to achieve that though.
Yeah.
And I think
Understood.
that's where a lot of businesses struggle.
Yeah.
I've got friends who own businesses where this is where they struggle too.
Mm.
This is where people are. And if you want to attract more people, you have to be there.
Mm.
I'm a big fan of everyone who knows me knows this. I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk and his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. Basically, what that means, and I am dumbing it way down. I highly recommend anyone
Thank
that's
you.
interested in this. You're welcome. I'm doing it mainly for John,
I know.
but I would recommend anyone who is interested in social media marketing to pick up Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk, or any of his books for that matter. But that one's a really, really good book. Basically, what it is just like in a boxing match. You're not going to come out and start throwing right hooks.
Mm.
You're going to jab your opponent until you tire them out, until you wear them down, and then you're going to throw that right hook. Same applies to social media. You want to tell people why you're so great. You want to tell, this is the same with the emails that I was talking about,
Yeah.
why you're so great, what you can do at your dealership or at your business, what you've been doing in the community. You want to tell them what's happening in your business. We've got this person's birthday. It's fantastic. We threw a party. You want to start flooding it with really cool things. And then you want to start doing how-to videos in there and just kind of pepper those in. You don't want to do them all the time, but
Mhm.
pepper those in. And then finally, once you've got people hooked, they're used to seeing that content, they're bought in, they're engaged,
Yep.
you throw that right hook. Now you ask them to come in. Now you ask for that sale. And that's basically what we're doing with the social media. and the SEO and all of that. We are trying to ingrain. We're lucky because this business has been open for over 25 years. So we have that name recognition. We're not starting from scratch, but we still have to build in on that community, build that community up, get them engaged. So when we're ready, we can throw that right hook.
Have you had some engagement from?
I have had. We're still trying to work that out. It's only been 2 weeks, but yes, we've got quite a few that have registered. Not enough,
Sure.
but we have had quite a few that register. And the former owner is working with us. She's consulting with us. Not really former. She still technically owns it, but she has said that we have more than she would have expected at this time, and that most customers wait until the last minute to register anyways. So,
well, and I think that's probably, you're going to see that too. And that may come even in a bigger wave than you may expect, or than she even may expect, just because
right.
I think there's so much hesitancy, certainly around the school year in general,
Yep.
but around a lot of other things too. So
Yeah.
so people are probably, yeah, let's just see how it goes. And
Well, and that's another thing, we have COVID. That's there is an opportunity in marketing to use this to your advantage.
Sure. Oh,
everything,
absolutely.
even negative things can be used to your advantage in marketing.
Yes. Well, it's similar to investing, actually.
Yeah.
According to my the guy that handles our investments. Yeah, he said this is a great time.
Yep.
Well, I think
I've been joking to a few people. I mean, how many people during a pandemic and a global pandemic and the beginning of a recession go out and buy a business?
Yeah,
we do.
Genius. Genius. Well, wishing you the best of luck, because that's exciting for sure. And I know, I know, despite your lack of dance prowess, there is some true dance prowess in your house, and
yes,
I'm excited for them, especially as they move forward with that.
It should be interesting.
Well, I think it will be interesting, exciting, and all of those things. But and to take this to a PoddiMouths thing, which is weird for us to actually talk about PoddiMouths while we're
really
doing a broadcast.
I don't know. PoddiMouths. Who's PoddiMouths?
Who are they? I don't know.
Is that a new podcast out there?
It's a delicious podcast. It
delicious.
Really is.
Yeah.
Okay. Delicious and delightful.
I'll have to look it up. Is there a place that I can go to look it up?
You could go to PoddiMouths.com, or you could just put on this mask.
Oh, but okay.
That goes right over my ears and my
nice.
Not so much my ear. But you see what happens to my glasses?
They fog up. Yeah. I saw the picture on social media.
Did you tell my glasses were fogged up?
I did. I could tell your glasses are fogged up. Now, where could they get something like that, John? They
could actually go to PoddiMouths.com, and right at the top of the homepage, there's a spot for merch. And all they have to do is click on merch, and it will take them, actually takes them off the site, but to this place where they can order several of the content-specific clothing pieces and more that they can find out there. A lot more. And I think
last week I did post a picture of Terry on social media with the mask on, but it was a very small picture, so you might not have been able to see it. But I do know that you posted a couple of weeks ago that same picture with your glasses fogging. Got a lot of likes.
Well, that's because people like it when I can't see.
Yeah.
So, but what I wanted to say to close the loop on the whole social thing is that I finally decided, and it was probably Monday this week, that we teach people to do this all the time. Let's start engaging our listeners. And we have had, with just a couple additional posts this week, some really good engagement. And I just want to thank our listeners, and some maybe have not even listened or will be listening for the first time. And I'm just excited about that, because it's there are a lot of names I don't recognize. That's awesome. That we're engaging. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's very cool. Yeah, and
all those folks.
I think one of the most successful episodes was one of those weeks. I think it was actually the week I took off, where I had time to sit there and I did almost a post a day.
Oh, you mean not the week that you took off the podcast?
Right. No, the week that I actually did not have my day job.
Hey, Nick's not on. Let's listen this week. It's just John and then John pretending to be Nick.
Right. Exactly. So that social media post though that you did, you actually promoted it as well, right?
I did promote it. Yeah.
Yep.
So I spent, I think, $20.
Yeah, which is not, it is not bad. So that again, with Jen's business foray,
Yep.
got the
Nice.
two,
Okay.
not the building, not the room
Not
in
the
front of your
foyer.
house.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The foray into this business. I have done some posts and some promoting of those posts
Mhm.
and some Google ads and some Facebook ads and things like that. And it is absolutely amazing how inexpensive that really is.
It is. But you have to still have quality content. It has to
Absolutely.
be something that's fun and engaging, not just, look at us, this is who we are and what we do. So anyway, I've enjoyed that part of it. And just seeing people, it was I think I did a funny meme that was, what movie have you seen 5 times or more and still enjoy watching it or something like that.
Yeah.
And I put you down for Goonies. I hope that's okay.
You did. And that was perfect. So I'm going to show you an ad right now. This is one that I posted because I'm showing this to you because we're talking about it. And also before the podcast, you had said something about me being detail oriented.
Yes.
I'm going to blame tiredness because I was very tired and I did it late at night on Sunday, but I built this ad. You see that?
Oh, that's awesome. That's not you, is it?
No. Okay, so it's a Motivation Monday and it's got the name of the business and then says, what motivates you? And then in the post itself, it said, find what motivates you at the dance studio name, which I am going to hold off on till it's ours. But
that's right.
But you see that, right?
Yeah, that's great.
That is the second one I did. The first one that I posted and promoted said, what's motivates you? Like what apostrophe S.
Oh.
Yep. Oops. Didn't catch it until the next day after we had already received over 1,000 views on it. Yeah.
Did you get comments on it? Anyone
Nope,
correcting
not one
you?
person corrected me. I even had my wife check it. This is how tired we were that Sunday night.
Sure.
Even had her check it and she missed it. And I was just sitting there and I was looking at the insights because I had promoted it as well.
Sure.
Looking at the insights and I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. So I deleted it from Instagram. I deleted it from Facebook and then went in and fixed it and popped a new one.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome though, because you did see it, but I wish I would have seen it because I would have answered, what motivates you. I would have said grammar and then
I am really honestly surprised that no one did that because it wasn't glaringly obvious Sunday night, but Monday afternoon, it was glaringly obvious.
Well, to you perhaps, but I think people have grown, if not accustomed, tolerant of that. It seems like anytime you go any place and read comments or whatever, it's just a mishmash of poor grammar and spelling and usage and that it's okay.
It is okay, but it's still embarrassing because I am a perfectionist and I spent a lot of time on that.
Yet you're on this podcast with me. So
yeah, I didn't say I had taste. I just said
I think we're fighting back against your perfectionist image.
Right. Exactly.
Very successful.
Well, okay. So random thought about me. It's because it's all about me. But so I have been a perfectionist for a very long time.
Yep.
And one thing that I do think this podcast has helped is when I went to college, I started learning the right way to speak. I had always been very good at speaking and I was always given. Yeah, exactly. See, that's my point. I was
at a loss for words.
I'm at a loss for words. No, I was always not. I don't want to say recommended, and this is getting to the problem right here. I was always commended on how well I spoke. I never had a loss for words. I always was very eloquent in how I spoke. But when I got to college, I started trying so hard to sound smarter that after 4 years of that, now I have a difficult time remembering words, or I have I will go through a sentence like I did just a few seconds ago and then stop because the right word just will not come to me.
Yeah, it happens to me too.
It drives me absolutely nuts because I used to be so good and I don't know how to get past it. I really don't.
Get younger.
Oh, well, no. Wish someone would have told me that 10 years ago.
Well, actually, our guest for the next podcast is Ponce de Leon, and
Nice.
yeah,
The
he'll
Fountain
be
of
joining
Youth.
for the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
So he's very young.
Very young. It's kind of like Johnny Depp. I mean, he found the Fountain of Youth in Pirates of the Caribbean 4.
Yes, right.
They were just trying to kickstart that whole thing up again.
Are they? Oh my gosh.
No, they were. That's why they did the Fountain of Youth. Yeah.
I didn't think they were doing it again. He said in some interview, as I recall, that he was emulating Keith Richards.
Yeah. Which is why Keith Richards plays his father in.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's just a hilarious picture in my mind.
I mean, I'm sorry, it's a genius performance. He does such a great job.
There's no question.
He will always be Jack Sparrow.
He and is it Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yeah,
are two truly of the finest actors that are out there. Daniel Day-Lewis is just amazing, but he does, one film every 8 years or something like that because he can, and apparently gets paid enough during the ones that he does. It's just pretty incredible, and you really do appreciate great actors and actresses for sure.
Absolutely.
Cool. What else you got? What else did you forget?
Oh, I forget everything. I forgot 5 minutes ago what I was going to say. This is a big pain in the ass.
This whole getting older thing.
I don't know if it's getting older. It's been since I was 18 years old where I've struggled with it. But I do think talking more for a living.
Yeah.
Meaning not necessarily for our day job, because we do talk a lot for our day job and we do present.
Yep.
I used to be a much better presenter than I was. And I do know what happened to me there. That's a whole other podcast. But I used to present very, very well. And I used to speak very, very well. But now with the podcast, I think it's getting better.
Jeez.
It's not really.
I'm
adding this.
Enthralled.
I know you are. And I'm trying to say all this to see if we can get people to comment on our social media by going up to PoddiMouths.com and finding links to our social media right there. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Do check them out.
Check them out.
I've been active on Facebook this week. You've always been more active on Instagram, and that's been good. We tweet occasionally. One of these days, though, I hope we can get some of our podcasts live on camera up on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm glad you clarified, because we are on YouTube.
I know.
Every single episode is on YouTube.
I like every one of them.
Do you really?
Well, as long as I get out there.
Okay. Yeah.
And I often will listen to them, and I just keep going. And the weird part, and so if you've never had a podcast, or if you don't listen to them that often, this was weird to me, that as I listen to us talking, because so much of what we do is sort of off the hip, I know what I'm going to say before I say it, even though I don't remember what I said. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
But it's like you and I are having a conversation that we could do anytime, anywhere, and replicate and repeat it probably.
Well, we've had to in the past. When I forgot to hit record, we've had the whole conversation.
It was not usually you. It was usually technical stuff with internet connections and all that crap. But yes, you're right. We did have to recreate stuff.
Right. So we've said it already on this podcast, but we are recording the same week our friend Bill's podcast is actually airing.
Yes.
So with that, we had technical difficulties on that particular recording that I'm willing to share if you're comfortable, John. When we recorded, it only recorded two of us. It didn't record Bill's whole track. Luckily, the system we use has a backup, and I was able to pull down the backup. But it was very scary there for a minute, because we went for over an hour. Yes, it was probably an hour and a half. I cut about a half hour out. We went for an hour and a half, and we would have had to do the entire thing over again if we lost those recordings.
Yes, you were.
We could have done it.
You were Superman that day.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite go that far.
Done
I was
it.
Shazam. I was Shazam.
You were Shazam. Okay. It was, yeah, we could certainly recreate it. It would have been different. Um, just because we don't have, it's not like we have show notes that we're
Right.
following or anything. But Bill, as you know, is easy to talk to and very comfortable, when the three of us talk. But what's a real benefit, having done a few podcasts where we've had guests, I really enjoy having the video attached to
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Just for us, because you can watch, so you're not as likely to step on people when they're talking, and for me
Yes. Yep.
especially. So
No, you're absolutely right.
yeah,
And
it's
that
cool.
was our last week's, which is next week's podcast with our friend Terry.
Yeah.
That
Very-
one was so well done and so perfect. I probably will do very little editing. We didn't have any technical difficulties. Everything downloaded.
Yeah, let's be
And-
clear about what you mean by well done and perfect, because it's still us.
Yeah, it is still us. So that
But you're right,
said,
technical wise,
there wasn't a problem, and I didn't even hear that many pips and pops. So I didn't note anything. And
That's awesome.
Granted, I haven't edited it yet, but I don't think there'll be that much, which will be nice.
That will be a nice break for you.
Be a very nice break. Yes. Yeah, because even with the recording that we had to do, where it was separate, or when I had to download the backups, they're all different lengths. So I had to find it and then match them up. So we were talking. So it wasn't like, Bill would make a joke and then 5 seconds later,
Wait. That's usually us anyway.
That is true. That is.
I just got it, Bill. Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but if you get a chance, go back and listen to those last two episodes with Terry and one with Bill. They're very, very good. They're very fun people, fun to listen to. They were incredible to talk to.
Yep.
I enjoyed myself thoroughly, even though I was busted for yawning on both of them. It's just what I do, guys. Not bored.
It calms you down.
It does calm me down.
That's why I yawn.
Exactly.
Not because I need to.
But you can go and listen to those episodes by visiting PoddiMouths.com. We've talked about that many times. You can get merch at PoddiMouths.com. All of our episodes. Yeah. You can also go to YouTube. You can go to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and find us there, which will also direct you back to the website. And buy merch. That's what we're sticking to right now, is buy merch.
Buy merch.
We have had quite a few people buy merch, which I'm pretty impressed
excited about that, just because if for no other reason it gets the word out. Oh, what's PoddiMouths? Or people just getting comfortable seeing it or knowing what it's about. So yeah, I bought merch and I finally got it last week, which was nice.
I was supposed to get mine. I still haven't gotten my shirts.
Oh, haven't you really?
No.
I have two of them.
Look it up again.
Yeah, we can share.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
We're both.
We're going to share the mask?
We both wear boys medium, right?
That's right. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, wow. I got to tell you that really quickly.
Okay.
My ex-brother-in-law, we're at a place called what was the name of the lake? Doesn't matter, in Wisconsin. And
I've never heard of that lake.
This is many years ago. And my brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law, came to the lake, and there's some of the other family members hanging around there. And he's wearing these swim trunks that are tight, and he's a slim guy and always has been. And he probably went 160 pounds maybe. And he comes with these really tight swim trunks, and he's kind of look at him. Geez, Ron, what's with? He said, "Well, they're mediums. I checked it out." And as we turned out, his ex-wife looked at the label, and it was a boy's medium. And it was, I hope he doesn't mind me telling this, but it was awesome. And of course, then once it's a boy's medium, he blushes a little bit, and when he goes into change, and his wife's uncle and I were there chatting about it, and I said, well, really the only part that seemed to have plenty of room was the crotch.
Wow.
Everything else was tight.
Wow.
Terrible, but pretty darn funny.
That's pretty damn funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, boys medium.
Oh, if you want if you want your friends to hear more about boys medium pants or swim shorts, share with them this podcast, not this PoddiMouths. Share with them this podcast, And if you don't like it, don't want to hear about it, but you really loathe your enemies, share with them this podcast.
Yes.
So
Loathe your enemies. That's
loathe your
what good
enemies.
advice that is.
Thank you.
No, pray for your enemies. That's
Well,
what
you can loathe them and pray for them all at the same time.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
allow that.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't really have
On that
anything to
note,
do with
John,
Nick,
it's been wonderful.
It's
It's
always
been real. It's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun.
that was telegraphed, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
See you, everybody.
See